Hey my friend, in this video I'm gonna tell you the difference between a passive and an active volume pedal. I already made a video on this topic a few years ago, but this is an updated version with even simpler explanations and some sound clips so that you can hear for yourself how bad is the tone suck between those two. So let's start with the basics. What confuses the most people with the active versus passive thing is that there are two layers to it. First of all, the pedal itself can be passive or active, but it can also be made for passive pickups or for active pickups. So how do you know if your pickups are passive or active on your guitar? Well, there's a 99% chance that your guitar has passive pickups. Why? How do you know it? Well, if you don't have to change the batteries on your pickups, it means they are passive. They're gonna take the magnetic field of the pickup and the vibration of the string. That's gonna be enough to get a signal. I usually see more bass players having to change the batteries on their pickups and having active pickups, but there's a big chance that you have passive pickups with your guitar. So for example, if you want to get a Ernie Ball VP Jr volume pedal, and now you see that there are two models that seem exactly identical. You have the VP Jr 250K and you have the VP Jr 25K. So the 250K is for passive pickups. This is most likely what you need to get. And the 25K is for active pickups. So if you need batteries or power supplies to make your pickups work, or if your signal needs to be powered, right? So this is the first thing. But then the pedal itself can be passive or active. And the same principle applies here. Do you need a battery or power supply to make it work? So for example, this Ernie Ball VP Jr, there is no input for a power supply or no compartment for a battery here. So that means that you can plug it and you don't need to power it for it to work. So that's the passive pedal. The active pedal, like my Mission Engineering VM Pro, does need and does have an input for a 9-volt DC adapter or a compartment for a battery here. So just to recap, if you get an active pedal by itself, you don't need to care about if your pickups are passive or active. This is gonna work with everything. But if you purchase a passive volume pedal, you have to be careful to choose the right model, whether your pickups are passive or active, whether you have to power your pickups for them to work. I hope this was not too confusing, right? Okay, so now the next question is, what is the advantage of getting an active volume pedal versus a passive one? Because the active one generally costs $100 more compared to the passive. Well, when you have a passive volume pedal, it's the same thing as if it were a volume knob on your guitar, but that you place in the middle of your pedal board, right? There is not a buffer in it. There is not an amplifier circuit. This is just the sound passes through and you don't need to power it. So this is convenient because you don't need a power supply or anything. But because of that, the pedal can be more sensitive to where you place it on your pedal board and what it is placed after it on the board, whether you have a lot of cables or lots of pedals, and that can result in some tone suck, especially if you use the tuner output on it, which splits the output of the pedal into two, and that can result into some more tone loss. But when you get an active volume pedal, you have an amplifier circuit that is most often used as a buffer. So it isolates the input and the output of the pedal so that it doesn't matter what is placed after it, how many cables and pedals that you have. So it makes sure that you don't get any tone loss with it. But now the next question is how bad the tone loss is. If this is just a tiny tone loss, that might not be worth to invest $100 more. But if the difference is night and day, maybe that's worth it to save up for an active pedal. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play with my pedal board, which has about 10 pedals on it. And I'm gonna play with the same exact signal, same volume, same guitar, same pickup, same pedal board, same amps. The only thing is that I'm gonna swap the passive pedal for the active pedal, and I'm also gonna try the passive pedal with and without the tuner output active, and you can hear for yourself how bad the tone loss is. So let's hear it. All right, so you are ultimately the judge, but I think that there's a significant tone loss with the passive one compared to the active one. The passive, I lost some volume and I didn't change anything on my amps. This was the same settings. I lost some volumes, I lost some high frequencies and even some definition in my lows, I think. So for me, this is really worth it to invest in an active pedal. That being said, that can change a lot depending on your signal chain. It depends on how many pedals you have. It depends on the quality of your cables. It depends on if you have buffered versus true bypass pedal. There is a lot to consider here, but I think that we can safely say that a passive pedal is gonna suck some of your tone. To which degree, you don't really know, but that's gonna suck some of it. So I hope that this video was helpful to you, that you know exactly what you should get right now between passive and active volume pedals. And if you like this video, I would really appreciate if you could give it a thumbs up. And you can subscribe to my channel for more tips and tutorials on how to use your guitar pedals. And I also have some cool guitar lessons on some lush and more advanced chords, and I post on a weekly basis on my channel. So subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'm gonna see you very soon. Until next time, au revoir.